Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. This video is going to be the campaign update for the Wednesday online campaign. The party was between adventures as far as anything I had prepared, so at the beginning of the week I started texting them questions in group chat on what they'd like to do. So they picked monster hunting. Then after that they wanted to hunt a dinosaur. Then they chose that they wanted to hunt a carnivore dinosaur. And after that, they chose that it was a land-based dinosaur because the party doesn't do good with water. As is over half the party almost drowns crossing a river if anyone falls in. So, without further ado, the party consisted of my 4 players, and they picked these characters of theirs to use for this adventure. We got the Goblin Gunslinger, Boom Boom. We got a new character for this player, Opaku, which is a frog person. He's a water kineticist. Then we got human necromancer, Drift. He was in the last adventure that I was doing updates on. And Aliston, the Drow Rogue, was also in the last adventure. And then we got the Elf Druid Dawn and the Gnome Fighter Lavart. I believe both of them were in the last adventure, but I could be wrong. The fighter might have been substituted out. I know that the Druid was in the last adventure. And then we got the Artificer Dwarf Persian and the Human Archer Lincoln. I might be pronouncing that wrong. And that's the party makeup. And those players are the ones that chose to hunt a monster. So that's the entertaining part. So the party's approached by a gnome while they're at the inn. The gnome introduces himself and asks them if he'll come and slay a creature that's been killing the farm animals. And they'll pay 116 gold pieces for the beast to be slain total. And then the party asked if they could get anything else related to the farms, and he offered them, I believe, a bag of spice each, so they'll get some trade goods in addition to that. The party travels about, I think I said it was about 2 weeks by foot upriver, up the Nile. And they're seeing trees everywhere around the Nile. So there are forests around this area. The party makes it to the gnome village. No, they stop at one of the farms approaching the gnome village. And there they find that the sheep farm has been attacked. And a third of the sheep flock's missing, assumed to be eaten. And they're greeted. They interact with the farmer. They investigate the area. They see some tracks. They look around and see what they can see and see what they can find. Without the track feet, they are at a small disadvantage at all this. But they continue. And they don't really, other than the creature coming out of the forest and attacking the sheep and going back in the forest, the farmer relayed to them that the creature only attacked his farm at night. And then the party makes it into town. The mayor of the town says that the party can stay for free. So the innkeeper's upset because the mayor is not the innkeeper of the town. So, and the inn's the only place that medium-sized adventurers can fit. So the innkeeper is being compensated by the party by the tipping well over all their meals and everything. The Church of Basset visits with the party when they find out that the party is hunting the beast. And Bastet, if you don't know, is the cat goddess of Egypt. They donate 2 potions to the party that are Cure Light Wounds that do a D8 plus 3. In addition to that, a good descriptor of this town was you see cats everywhere, as well as this temple with a cat goddess statue. And by temple, I mean kind of like a roadside shrine. I don't know very many religions that have them for a reference for modern day. Maybe like a Japanese roadside shrine where they've built out a wooden frame around the statue, and there's areas for offerings there, and there might be a handful of clergymen total that take care of it. But from there, the party goes to one of the other areas that's seen the most attacks, and it's a pig farm. And it apparently had been attacked again the night before the party made it to town. There are 3 pig survivors in this pig farm. The farmers of the pig farm are missing. They look around at the footprints. They see the eaten bodies of some of the pigs. Whatever survivors that they talk to talk about a scary roar that came when this attack started, which matches the accounts from the sheep farm. They follow this, hold on. They're contemplating making traps for this creature now. And here's what the party came up with at the beginning, because I encouraged them to share all their ideas with me. I'm not going to shoot down one of their ideas, because chances are it could work. Their first idea is a hole in the ground big enough for a leg. They want to sprain or break a leg. And in my notes, I got how much time roughly it would take for them to dig it. They got a 100-foot rope, so they're thinking of a snare or a trip line. And they were also thinking of a deadfall made of trees, which are not all bad ideas. Some are obviously time-wise better than others, but they're not under a time crunch in the sense that they got to get this done as fast as possible, as much as they want to get it done as fast as possible so no one else is getting hurt. No other farms are getting destroyed. So after that, they feed the 3 pigs. They even create a mud hole for them. I believe the druid cast Speak with Animals and was talking with one of the pigs. And they fed one of the pigs a truffle. And that pig always approaches the party whenever they visit. So after that, they begin following the trail into the forest. They follow the trail for a good distance, and they make it to the river. And then at the river, the tracks just sort of disappear, like they went straight 90-degree angle into the river. So the party's sitting there scratching their head, trying to figure out what to do. At this point, I look up how wide the Nile is, and at the widest point, it's 1.7 miles wide. Well, they've been heading upstream for a while, so I'm going to say where they were at was maybe a mile wide. So they decide to take the time to use the rope and build a raft to get across. So I think I had them make a use rope check, or whatever the equivalent is for Pathfinder. I know use rope from 3rd edition, but I had them make a small craft check. I think the DC was like at most 15, and I probably didn't even make it that high. And then they take the raft across the river, and they make their sailing checks to not deviate too much downstream, just from the natural current. The party gets to the other side and they start looking around, they find a small set of tracks, or a small trail of tracks, I should say. The tracks are the same size as the beast. And then they find a giant poo pile. Think of the poo pile from Jurassic Park that was displayed when they were investigating the Triceratops's illness. And except the smell wouldn't be a plant-based creature poo pile, it's a carnivore poo pile. So the smell would be a little different. That's roughly where the adventure ended. They did a lot of investigating, a lot of handling the situations, a lot of discussing stuff. So where it next takes up, after I awarded them experience for that day's worth of adventuring, I believe I gave them 125. Where it next takes up, they're in front of this poo pile trying to decide what they do next. And I believe, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they were, by the time they encountered the poo pile, it was late afternoon, so about 3 or 4 in the evening. So night's approaching, so they do have to sort of worry about that. Now, if I'm wrong, they waited till morning and then made the raft and went across, or they made the raft one day and then waited till morning to go across. So they'll correct me if I'm wrong, which is not a big deal. It just set up whether nightfall's actually really close or not. But to go backtrack to them crossing the river, as they were examining the river, there's no signs of the normal stuff that's been in the Nile in this area. There's no signs of crocodiles and there's no signs of hippos. So the party's speculating. The farm attacks, they also questioned about how often the farm attacks were. The farm attacks were every 3 days or so, a farm would get attacked. And that's all the information the party has that I'm going to share with you. I still have a few things in my notes that'll aid me in running it. Unless the party does something crazy or has to retreat from the creature, one encounter with the creature is probably all they need to handle it, just in my perspective. Now, the dice can always go against them, and it usually does, so I'm not going to put it past them needing to fight this thing like twice. Just as long as they could retreat at some point. Well, that is what all's happened in my Wednesday online campaign. It'll be another 2 weeks till you have another update. Until we all game again, guys.